Not so long ago in War Thunder, we finally released the long-awaited ground warfare. Players can now not only fly warplanes, but also drive real tanks. We decided to act not only in cyberspace, but also in real life by restoring a real Soviet T-44 tank. The T-44 is a tank which was supposed to replace the Soviet Army's primary tank, the T-34. It was developed in the middle of the 40s and went into batch production in 1944, but it never quite made it to the front. In fact, the T-44 became an intermediary step to more complete and powerful tanks, such as the T-54 and the T-55. For the first time, we're taking a vehicle for restoration right out of the depot's stock, which is intended for spare parts. All the work on the interior and exterior will have to be done from scratch. And as for the engine, we'll see. The vehicle's restoration will be done in several stages. The first stage is an external inspection. As we can see, the engine transmission compartment I'm sitting on should have a radiator in it. Even the bolts to fasten it on have been ripped out. The sleeve is unfit for use. It was simply cut with a knife. The left side track shoulder and the exhaust casing has undergone massive deformation. The turret is missing the gunner's and loader's observation equipment. The A3 communication device is still intact. This is the actuator for the heater. Previously, heaters were made so that the handle was placed in the pump while the tank driver or one of the crew members turned it, and the pump delivered fuel to the heater's boiler through an injector. Wow! The turret still turns. It's clear there's a lot of work to be done. Painstaking work requiring a lot of effort, but I think we can handle it. With the help of our friends at Gaijin Entertainment, we're making a fully functional vehicle that will be used at our museum constantly. Practically all our vehicles are reconstructions, and almost all the work is carried out in the museum. This is history. This must be done. We've made the decision to independently put this tank into action right here in these conditions, and we're already getting started with its exterior. It's just great to see a tank that isn't sitting still in a warehouse or on a pedestal somewhere, but is a real military vehicle instead, which can move and turn its turret. It gives you an entirely different feeling. We'll see its first steps, see how the tank transforms, and see its revival. Follow the fate of this tank, play War Thunder, and see you next time. We begin the first stage of the restoration of the tank by starting on the chassis. Let's look at how long it will take and what difficulties we will have. For now, at this stage we will try to do everything to make our tank start up and go. Let's hope that everything will be fine. The T-44 proved to be a very reliable machine, very easy to service. A good, solid mechanism. That is, if something is out of order, the tank can be repaired by the crew. There are different ways you can start an engine here. You can start it with compressed air, you can run the starter motor, or you can start it using a combination of both. When we climbed inside, it was in a terrible state. All the electrics, all the equipment was torn away and cut out. Levers did not move, the gearbox was jammed in one gear. We spent a week trying hard to resolve it, with hands, legs, crowbars, and sledgehammers.
Не надо это снять, пальцы просто. Когда у тебя со второй третьей сдвинется.
Ну-ка еще раз назад.
We replaced the starter motor. The old one did not work. It was so bad, the brushes fell out of it. We found that there were no oil cooler and no coolant radiators. Lucky for us, we found a donor, a T-44 tank. We borrowed the oil cooler from that. It fitted perfectly.
Там между ними должен быть хомут.
But with the water radiator, problems arose because the tank was produced in the 1940s. Where could we find a replacement? Our idea was to make a fully authentic restoration, with all original parts and assemblies. These tanks could only be found in museums and private collections. Most probably, they are not in a complete state. Therefore, some parts could be found in military storage. Who knows? These parts are not used anywhere now. Surprisingly, with good luck, we've been told that one of the warehouses of the Ministry of Defense has a T-44 radiator, a new one. We immediately made a request, and they quickly provided our package. The radiator arrived in a box, new and complete. It was from the Soviet era, with the official stamp USSR. All the preliminary work has been done. Fueled up, coolant added. Basically, the machine is ready to work today, and the day has come when we are ready to run it. Could the tank not start? Nonsense. If you have an engine, if the fuel, cooling, lubrication systems are provided, the engine will start. If the engine is started, then surely the tank will drive.
Да. Готов. Заводи!
Запуск!
Лёха!
Готов.
Давай!
Запуск!